What's up, y'all? Welcome back to WBC Central, a baseball isn't boring podcast, and we have one of my favorite interviews. I've been so excited for this. Y'all have seen me tweet about him. We love this team. This is Marek Chlup from the Czech National Team, plays for North Greenville University. What's going on, man?
Hey, thank you for having me.
Yeah, man, I'm super excited to talk to you. I know that the Czech baseball team has been one of the funnest storylines going into the WBC. I'm sure for you and the team, but also just for the rest of the baseball world, because it's a pretty unknown team for a lot of fans around the world and other countries. And you have been a big part of that team, especially in qualifiers. So every time I've posted about the Czech team, people have been really excited to hear from you and for the potential of an interview. So this is super exciting, man.
Yeah, I mean, the qualifiers were just, we enjoyed it as a team, and it was, it even surprised us that we were able to advance and beat Spain in the final game after losing by almost, I think it was 15 runs. So we were glad we could make it to the big tournament, and we all worked extremely hard during off season, and I think we're all ready to enjoy the big stage at the main WBC. I can't wait.
Oh, I have some questions coming later on about that Spain rematch, because that is one of the craziest things I've ever seen. That first game against Spain, then going to that next game. So we'll definitely be talking about that. But I wanted to start out with something pretty serious, just to start off the episode. What does it feel like to have the most chiseled jawline in all of the World Baseball Classic?
I wasn't sure if I'm the one who has the most chiseled jawline, but I mean, if other people say, I mean, it feels good. It's a good thing to have, I guess.
At least in my rankings of jawlines, you're number one, so I'm very jealous. But it's funny, I would post about when you were on, you made the team, or you've always been on the team, but when I started posting about the Czech team after y'all qualified, I would post about you. I don't know if you saw me tweet this today, and instead of people talking about your numbers, just he's really good looking.
Yeah, I mean, that's another way how we can promote the baseball in Czech Republic. I mean, if it works, I mean.
I almost tweeted that out too. I was like, if we want to grow the game, here you go, and it was just your face. But,
that's great.
No, yeah. So I wanted to ask you about just kind of how you started with baseball, how you got connected with baseball, because I know that your dad was kind of the first in your family, from what I understand, that really got baseball. He played tennis before, but then kind of just fell in love with baseball. So how did you get into baseball?
Well, I mean, since my dad played, I always traveled around different games and tournaments all over the Europe, and I just kind of was always around baseball in my life, so I fell in love with the game. I played many different sports throughout my young days, like soccer or hockey, but baseball was pretty much always the number one sport for me, and I continued to play it after elementary school and high school, and it was the number one sport that I always took seriously, basically.
Yeah, I mean, you're a pretty big dude. Was that your best sport, or did you like it the most growing up?
I feel like it was the best sport for me, because I was always big, but I was always also fast, so I could really use it in baseball. I did track and field actually in high school, but overall that was just because to get better at sprinting and be a better baseball player. So that's why I did that, basically. Yeah.
Oh, that's the. It's funny because here in the U.S., if you play football in American football in high school, I mean, I'm from Texas, so football is massive in Texas. If you play football but you don't play any other sports, they make you do track and field or wrestling. You have to choose in the spring semester. So unless you play baseball. So for me, it was in the fall I would do football, and in the spring I would do baseball. But I mean, if you can do track and field, that does help a lot with baseball as well.
Yeah, it is true, and a lot of my teammates and former coaches from the last school and even this school, they always tell me like, you would be a great football player because you can run fast and you're big, and I was always like, yeah, might be true, but the only thing I know about American football is that there's touchdown and sometimes they kick the ball, so I don't even know the rules, so that would be kind of funny.
Well, selfishly, I prefer baseball anyway, so I'm glad you chose baseball. But when you were growing up, because from what I understand, I'm sure you can speak on this much better, but from what I understand, baseball's not the first most like popular sport in the Czech Republic. It's not the second or third or fourth, from what I understand. So was it normal that you played to your friends, or did they think it was weird? Did they think it was cool?
Oh yeah, they definitely thought it was weird because a lot of people don't even know the rules of baseball. Like there's no baseball fields in Czech. There's no baseball on TV. So only thing people know about baseball in Czech is there is home run when you hit it over the fence, and there's a bat. And they always ask, the number one question that baseball players get asked in Czech Republic is if you're the one who's throwing the ball or hitting the ball. And I'm like, well, sometimes you do both, so it's kind of complicated. But people always ask these questions, and it's hard always explaining the rules to them. And yeah, so baseball is definitely not popular sport in Czech. We have soccer and hockey and volleyball and basketball, but baseball's not
Yeah.
not it. But after our success in the qualifier, it definitely got more popular. So that's why we're glad we did that achievement.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. I mean, being on the world stage, like to be able to say, like you play for the Czech national team in whatever sport, I feel like is a very big deal. So that's going to be super cool for you and your family, obviously, but also I hope it's like inspirational to kids in Czechia that grow up there. They see like, oh well, I mean, he's from here. All of these guys are from here. That is an option for us to play. So
Yeah.
that'd be pretty cool. But so your dad actually, did he start a club team in your hometown?
Yeah, so that's kind of interesting story. My dad fell in love with baseball after watching the movie called Natural, which is a great baseball movie, and he saw it
Love it.
in a cinema, and he liked it so much that he went to see it another 7 days in a row, and he liked it so much that he even made his own bat because that was the only way how you could get a baseball equipment is just make it by yourself, but he wasn't sure uh, how long a baseball bat should be. So he made it 45 inches and just went and started his own baseball club. So basically why I play baseball right now, because of him like in the movie and starting his baseball career.
Oh man, that is so cool. I can imagine that it's really cool for him to see you play on the global stage too.
Yeah, I bet I bet it is. And he even was my coach for many years when I was growing up. So he basically taught me everything I know now. So I bet it feels great for him that he can see me play against great players and in such a big tournament.
Yeah. See you get to go up against like Team Japan, Shohei Ohtani and Yu Darvish. That's gonna be really cool for him to see y'all on the same diamond.
Yeah, exactly. And
So
he's also a sports commentator and broadcaster. So he actually is gonna be commentating some of the games. So it's even uh, cooler that he's gonna be able to commentate the games that I play.
really, okay, I didn't know that. That's gonna be really cool. So will it be broadcasted in Czechia?
Yes, that's another great thing that our main sports TV channel purchased the rights to do the WBC. So all of the games are going to be on TV, and that should also help with the popularity of Czech baseball.
Yeah. So when did you come over to the US to play? Because I know that you started, so you're at North Greenville University right now. You started though at NC State, I believe. But how did you get connected to US baseball?
Well, In 2017, that was my first year. I was a part of the Czech senior national team. I was on the, I think it was a 40-man roster, and our former coach, Mike Griffin, he basically did a training camp in North Carolina, where our team played different universities like uh, Duke and Coastal Carolina and NC State, and that's how basically me and one of my other teammates, Wojtek Menchik, you probably know him. He's our leadoff hitter. We both got recruited by NC State, and after spending 2 years there, I went and transferred to North Greenville, and this is my 5th year right now.
Okay, yeah, sweet. Okay, that makes sense. I remember hearing something about you being able to go to like a training camp with them. So then, how did you transition from NC State over to North Greenville?
Well, it was during the COVID pandemics, basically 2020, when our season got canceled. I think I only played 6 games that season, and that's when the coaches from NC State decided to make some moves, and they told me like we're bringing other outfielders, and it's gonna be tough. So I decided I want to go somewhere else, and that's why I was looking for some other place, and that's kind of another crazy story how baseball world is small because Landon Powell, who is my current head coach here at North Greenville, he actually used to be a bad boy uh, for my Czech National Team pitching coach, who's Corey Lee. He used to play for NC State and got drafted as a first-round pick and eventually played in the big leagues. And Landon used to be his bullpen catcher and bad boy, and that's basically how they got connected, and that's why he brought me here. So that's kind of a crazy story.
Wow. Yeah, and clearly it paid off. Well, paid off for you, but paid off for him too, having you on the team. Because I know that you won Player of the Year in Conference Carolinas last year.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to like hype you up too much and get you cocky, but I was looking at your numbers at North Greenville. You had 3 straight years. You haven't had a single year with an OPS below 1,000. You have double digits home runs and stolen bases every single year. So clearly working out for you over there.
Yeah, I've had pretty good seasons here, and since the transition from playing high school baseball in Czech to going to ACC, it was super tough. So I feel like I'm still getting better and learning a lot, even though I'm 24 years old, kind of old college player. But I just didn't have many opportunities as my other US teammates, how they see good pitching here during high school, and even the transition is easier for them. So I still feel like I'm getting better each year, even though I'm 24. Yeah.
So that was actually going to be my next question, because I know that you mentioned growing up there, playing high school baseball there, playing for the Czech national team thing, coming over here, maybe developmentally a little bit behind because you don't see the same pitching or have the same, I guess, just amount of, like, you don't play as many games or practice every single day with this caliber of player in college. Can you compare and contrast like Czech baseball culture to like US baseball culture?
Yeah. So the biggest difference is we don't have any school sports in general, not even baseball, but like there's no sports in high school or college sports. We just have a club sport. So basically, if you want to play, if I play baseball during high school, I would be part of a club, and I would play under 18, under 21, and then we have a Czech extra league which I played since I was 15 years old. So that's how it works there, and yeah, that's probably the biggest difference if I compare it. Plus the amount of games that players play here is just it's much bigger than we play in Czech, and that's what I was missing when I made the transition from high school to college.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, in the WBC, it's like a single elimination game, whereas in like your regular season, whether it's college or MLB or whatever, it's 50 games, 60 games, up to 162 games. So it's going to be really interesting seeing that single elimination style baseball, because we know anything can happen in like one game of baseball.
Yes, exactly. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So what age did you start playing for the Czech national team?
The first year I started playing was when I was 12 years old, but it was the under 12 Czech national team, which is like on a little league field. And since then, I've basically been member of the national team in each category. And my first year as a member of the senior national team was when I was, like I said, when I was 17, when we came over to play in North Carolina. But actually, my first big tournament with senior national team was the European Championship in 2021. So it was 2 years ago. That was my first big tournament with the national team.
Okay, gotcha. So you've been playing with these guys for a long time. Do you know most of the players on the team personally?
Oh yeah. That's the probably the best thing about that team is we know each other basically forever. I mean, all the guys that are on the team, I've known them for maybe 10 years. So it's just, we always played with each other and against each other, and we're just one big family. And I think if I look back at the qualifiers, that's one thing that really helped us, because all the other teams, they didn't even know each other's names because they were imported players from minor leagues, and we were the only team that was made from native Czech players, and we'd known each other for 10 years and played together. So I feel like that was the deciding factor why we were so successful at the tournament.
Yeah, that is something that I don't think hardly any other team has in the WBC, is getting to play like with all these guys that you know for a long time. A lot of these teams, like for example, the U.S. team, these are all stars in MLB. They're going to be fine, but they don't have the camaraderie or the connection that team does, because they don't ever get to play together. It's not a normal thing for the national team to play all as one team. So I think that is definitely an advantage that I feel like your team has over a lot of the other teams in the tournament.
Yes, 100%. I mean, on the other hand, baseball is kind of specific sport in this, that it's team sport made with individual performances. So it's not such an advantage for us, but I think in the long run, it's just a great thing, and it makes us enjoy the moments and the tournaments even more, and it definitely even helps with the performances on the field. I mean, me being there with guys that I've known for 10 years is just amazing experience, and seeing them how they can handle working and playing baseball, having family. So it even motivates me on and off the field.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I feel like there were a ton of people that were motivated by watching the team during qualifiers. Can you walk us through what it was like to play against Spain? And I looked up the score before this. It was 21-7 that first game. And then you beat France, and then you beat Germany, and then you get back to playing Spain again. How was that, getting the rematch?
Oh yeah, that was kind of crazy, because since Spain scored 3 touchdowns against us, that wasn't very very nice start to the tournament, especially when we really wanted to win it. So, but like our head coach said, there was only one way out of it, and it was win everything and only go up. So after Spain beat us, we told ourselves we're not gonna play like that, and we beat France, and next day we beat Germany, which was a great win. And there was the rematch against Spain was, we knew it's gonna be hard, and if you look back at the game, it was a really close game, and no one expected it. We said probably after playing them last time, the only way how we're gonna win is probably scoring somehow 15 runs. So no one even expected that we could win 3-1, and our pitching did really well in that game, and we were able to score 3 runs and won. So it was amazing.
Cool. So I also wanted to ask you about the WBC and what it means to Czech baseball. So like what specifically does qualifying for the WBC for the first time in history mean to not only Czech baseball, but also to you personally?
Well, like I said before, for Czech baseball, it was amazing accomplishment because it was might have been the first time that the baseball was on Czech TV. Like I mean, in all the big news and stuff after we qualified. So that was amazing, and we could see people start talking about baseball and starting to be interested in the in rules or in our team, which is just huge. And if this can keep going, we're probably gonna see more players in Czech and people wanting to play baseball and follow baseball, which would be amazing for our country. And it means a lot because I mean, in the past 10 years, Czech baseball has tremendously improved. I remember when anytime there was some kind of bigger event like a world championship or even a maybe European championships, that we would just go there and just participate and basically go on a vacation. But it's not like that anymore. Anywhere we go, going there to win and to compete, which is just amazing feeling for me as a player that we just expect to win every time, and that's a great work done by our former national team coach Mike Griffin, who basically set this culture for players that okay, this is what I need from you to invest your time in baseball, so we can go to big tournaments and play big games and compete against best players. And our current head coach Pavel Chadim kind of continues his philosophy that anywhere we go, we're prepared to win and to compete. So that's what I as a player enjoy the most. If I look back 10 years and compare it to it now, it's just amazing going anywhere and competing and trying to win.
Wow. Yeah, and you've been through that whole transition from 10 years ago when you were already playing for the national teams until now. What was the transition like between Mike Griffin and Pavel Chadim?
It was kind of tough because there was a huge generational exchange between players. I mean, when Mike Griffin was finished with our national team, which was basically 2 years ago, there was a lot of veteran players who played in the national team forever, and they just didn't want to continue under a new head coach. So basically last year was the first year when our team was really young, but we still have some veteran players that have played in the national team for a long time. And for me, that's just a perfect balance of veteran players and also young players that bring energy to the team, and that's another reason why I think we were really successful in the qualifiers, and that transition was probably tough for most players, but after we were successful last year, I think they are really glad that they stayed on the team.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, I understand after being with the manager for so long that anybody that comes in, it's going to feel weird, like just because it's not what you're used to. Change is uncomfortable, but at the same time, that saying "winning cures all" it makes sense. And he seems like a great guy. From what I understand, Pavel seems like a very good coach, and like the players respect him and everything. So hopefully, the team is able to continue to rally around him because clearly something worked in the qualifiers.
Yes, he is a great coach, and he had to deal with a lot of negative opinions about his new team and his coaching, and I'm really glad he proved everyone wrong after we were successful last year. So it's really glad that he managed that situation well and was able to respond to the haters.
Yeah, happy for him, especially as this is his second job since he's a neurologist as well. But similar to similar to him, and because I know that it was kind of weird, him just not being there for so long and then transitioning into that role. I understand, from what I understand with Czech baseball, and you've talked about this, and I've heard like Petr Zima, he's talked about this multiple times as well. Like the strength of this team is how well y'all know each other, how well you play together because you've known each other and grew up with each other, and you've been the same national team for so long. What was the feeling when from the team when you heard that Erik Søgaard was coming in, and I believe Willie Escala as well? Those are the two guys that are not. I guess there's a couple, but what was that feeling when you first heard that?
Oh, we were excited because we won the qualifiers together, but on the other hand, we're especially looking to new guys in the team that they can bring new energy, and also having Erik is going to be great experience for everyone playing with someone who played in the big leagues for over 10 years. So that was amazing. He was supposed to play with us even in the qualifiers, but injury kept him from joining our team. But luckily, we were able to make it without him, and now he's gonna join us and help us as well as Willie. So that is great, and we're all excited to play with them, and hopefully they're gonna be able to also play with us in the European Championship, which is going to be this September, in which we have high hopes in.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm really glad to hear that, because I know that some teams have a lot of players, like a ton of players on their team aren't born in that country. Of course, Czechia is not that way. Most of you, almost all of you, are born there, born and raised, play Extraliga, and so you've all known each other. Of course, bringing in Erik Søgaard, I can imagine, is a huge help because of that big league experience. But it's cool to see also that everybody was on board too, because I know that bond that you all had without him was already strong. Hopefully he just adds to that. So, but at this time also, he is a Czech citizen as well, I believe. He got his Czech citizenship, right?
Yes, I believe his mother is from Czech, so he's eligible to get a Czech passport.
Have you met him?
I haven't met him yet. I know that the process of getting him already started when Mike Griffin was the coach. He has many connections in MLB, and found out that Erik Chlup and Alex played for us in I believe it was 2012 WBC qualifiers. He pitched for us, so his brother Erik is gonna join us now. And only thing I know from him is that he recorded a video when he was talking to the team during the European Championships 2 years ago, and how he's excited to play with us one day. So finally it will be here in WBC.
Yeah, if you MLB fans know him, he's known for his glasses, so I'm hoping he wears those big glasses during the games as well for y'all.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah. Who are some of your best friends or guys that you're closest with on the team?
Some of the guys I'm closest with are our leadoff hero Wojtek Menchik, because we played with each other at NC State, so we were roommates there, and so we know each other very well. And just I would say I'm close with everyone on that team. So it's our great advantage that we know each other very well, and it also helps with, we have some guys who are older and have regular jobs. So us knowing each other so well, it helps them to not think about baseball as a work and job, but on the other hand, think about it that we spend time together and have fun and are on the field. So it's not like you're going to play some tournament with guys you don't know, but you're looking forward to seeing your friends, and kind of you don't have to think about your work for a while. So I think that's a strength of our team.
Yeah, it's cool to see, because I know that, like we talked about, a lot of those guys, this is one of their two jobs. They have an actual job They are more amateur league because they get paid. So it's super inspirational. But then they also got guys like you who are students who are playing in the states that are trying to make it into affiliated ball, I would assume. So it's a good mixture, but you all know each other and get to play with each other, which is really cool to see that bond.
Yes, 100%. And even the guys who have job now, they have plenty of experience with professional baseball and baseball on a high level. For example, Martin Červenka, our catcher, he has a job now, but he used to play in minor leagues for 11 years, I believe, and most of these years he played in AA, AAA. So he's super experienced, even though he cannot play a baseball on the highest level anymore, but he's still probably our best player.
Yeah, experience, and he's so is he widely considered the best player on the Czech team?
Yes, I would say so. He's a captain, he's a leader, and he's definitely considered to be our best player.
Awesome. Yeah, he has a lot of experience in the minors. So I wanted to ask this as well. This obviously is a massive accomplishment for Czech baseball. I would say, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would argue that this game against Spain was the biggest game in history of Czech baseball. So what are kind of moving forward from here? We're going to have the WBC in March. After that, what are the expectations and the priorities moving forward for baseball in the Czech Republic?
So our next focus after WBC will 100% be a European Championship, which we haven't historically have had the best results, I would say. I don't want to lie, but I think our best result is third place at the European Championship. That might be the only time we won a medal. So we feel like we have super strong team, and we're super confident after winning the qualifiers. So we really hope to win the European Championship. That's going to be the main goal. And what's even better is the European Championship is going to be played in Czech Republic. So we're going to be at home, and that kind of gives us another opportunity how to grow the game back home, and maybe somehow bring the popularity from WBC, and Czech people can actually see the high level baseball back home in Czech in September.
Yeah. I mean, you know me, like my whole goal, I feel like, as well as the WBC, is to just grow baseball in Czechia, in all of these other countries around the world, just because I love this game and I want to see it grow as much as possible. And I think that the Czech team in Czech baseball is a really big part of that, because the hope is to help grow baseball in Europe and in those regions around Czechia. And so I think that it's a very big deal for them. Would you say that it's more important right now to help grow baseball in, like, Czech baseball in the Czech Republic? Is it more important to grow the Extraliga and the domestic league, or is it more important to focus on the international tournaments?
I really think it probably is going to be more important to focus on the international tournaments and really be successful at them, to show the world that we're getting better. But there should also be some focus on Extraliga, because that's where most of our national team players get basically their games in and their experience. So and if I think about it, it's definitely one of the reasons why Czech baseball is growing, because Czech Extraliga has gone up on so many levels, so that help us so much. There's many really experienced players coming over to play in Czech Extra Leagues. There's been many players with even MLB experiences playing in the Czech Extra League, and that really helps to grow the game back in Czech, and it really helps the players to get better, facing better competition. So that's what. So it could start with the Czech Extra League and continue on the international level, in my opinion.
That's awesome. Let's do some forecasting, because I think that's really interesting, and I want to see how baseball will grow. This will be kind of the last thing we go over. Looking forward at Czech baseball, what do you expect it to look like 5 to 10 years from now?
I think there's going to be the number of players that play baseball is, in my opinion, at least going to double in 5 to 10 years. Like, we're going to see many more clubs and kids playing the game, which I would love to see. And I think we're going to be probably one of the powerhouses in Europe, because right now it's mainly Netherlands, Italy, and Spain, and I think Czech has always been like on a fourth place by a lot, but I think we're gonna get closer, and we're gonna be considered on the same level as these four countries, and hopefully my biggest wish is that there's gonna be a first Czech player in MLB in next 10 years, which would be huge for our sport. And I think the popularity would be great if the kids could see, oh, someone really made it, so I can make it too. So that would be amazing.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know how much you know about, I don't know if you know Jan Gomes. He's a catcher. He's been in MLB for like a decade now. He's from Brazil, and there's hardly any players that have come from Brazil into MLB. Mm-hmm. When he made it, he was the first MLB player to make it that was born in Brazil. Baseball grew a lot. There's still a long way to go, but in popularity, it grew a ton in a lot of places in Brazil, just because they saw, wow, the top league in the world, the baseball player from here. Like, I guess I can do that too, like all the kids in Brazil. So I'm hoping the same thing happens with Czechia when you make it to the majors.
Yes, that would be amazing. I could see it. I could actually experience it with Max Kepler, who was the first. Oh, actually, he probably wasn't the first, but he was the first player who grew up in Germany until he was like 16 years old. And I remember watching his MLB debut, and I know that baseball in Germany exploded at that time. So if same could happen for Czech, it would be awesome. And also making it, if we could make it to the 2028 Olympics, that would be another great accomplishment. I think that would help our sport to grow even more.
Yep. And pulling out a win in this tournament so that you don't come in last. I mean, it'd be great to be able to move on, but as long as you can not have to requalify in next WBC, that's huge. It's a $300,000 pool for every team that makes it to the WBC. So, I mean, just being able to play in the next one as well is massive.
Yes, that would be great. We could already start preparing for the tournament, and I know that for many players it will be a great motivation to keep working hard, and even for the Czech Baseball Association, they would have the specific set goals, and they would know that in 3 years we're going to do this again, so we need to really prepare, and I think that would be awesome.
That's awesome, man. Sweet. Well, I don't want to keep you too much longer. I know that this has been kind of a longer interview. I've had a blast, and I think this has been a great interview. I think a lot of people are going to be really excited to hear from you and about Czech baseball. Just a couple kind of rapid fire questions. First, what are your favorite and least favorite American foods?
Okay, I've been always wondering what is considered American food, because I see so different cultures here, and I'm not sure what is American food, but I really like barbecue. That's my favorite, that I don't see anywhere around the world. That would be my favorite. And least favorite would be the American style pizza, because it's just so thick that I'm not used to it, and I'm not a big fan. Plus, we have it as a post-game meal here all the time, and I'm not a big fan.
It's not fair, because you're way closer to Italy than we are. So you have real pizza, or at least you know what it tastes like. We're so far away that I want to go to Italy to be able to have real authentic pizza. Also with barbecue, you need to come to Texas. I don't know if you've been to Texas yet. Got to have Texas barbecue. It's so good.
Oh yeah, I need to. We actually went to Houston at the beginning of the season, but I never had a barbecue there. We
That's
just
right.
went to steakhouse. It's very nice, but I never got a chance to get a barbecue, which was probably a mistake.
Well, you'll be back, I'm sure. Your baseball career will take you back to Texas again, and then make sure to have some barbecue. It's the best. And then what was I? What else? Oh yeah, what part of the WBC are you most excited for off the diamond?
I'm definitely excited to see Tokyo. I mean, that was for most of our players. It was really exciting that we were placed in a Pool B, which is in Tokyo, and we know that. I know that you said outside the diamond, but just experiencing Tokyo Dome is gonna be amazing, and the city in general. So I'm huge in traveling. I love to travel and seeing new countries, new cities. So that's what I'm excited about.
That's going to be huge. I would love to go to Tokyo. That would have been such fun to get to that pool. So hopefully you have a blast. I think it's going to be a ton of fun. And then one last question for American fans and American listeners. What is one thing about Czech culture that you think might be something that we would learn for the first time, or Czech life?
There's probably a lot of things, but what comes to my mind right now, I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is we don't drive so much everywhere. We just walk so much more. I don't know why. This is the first thing that I think about, but I know that I talked about it to my teammates a lot. That I always see them driving somewhere 100 yards instead of walking. I'm like, I would never think about it as a European person from Europe. So that's one thing that's definitely culturally different.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're traveling every day from work to school or to home, and so your mode of transportation, I'm sure, makes a pretty big difference. What is the biggest food? What food from back home are you craving most?
Oh, so the most popular food in Czech is called svíčková. It's basically a dish made out of sirloin beef and kind of sweet sauce with dumplings, and it's just a traditional Czech food, and everyone who tries it loves it so much, and it's served with some whipped cream and raspberries, and it's just a great meal. And this is the first thing I do when I come back home from States is have this meal.
Oh, that sounds delicious. Well, you like barbecue, so that sirloin beef, I'm sure, is right up your alley as well.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Sometimes I even eat raw beef, which I found that here in States people don't really want to eat when I make it for them, but in Czech it's a pretty standard dish that people eat.
Oh, that's a big topic. I feel like for a lot of people, like a very hot topic, like how you cook your steak. I love it like medium rare to almost rare. Like I love it when it's pretty rare.
Yes.
So I agree. Cool. Well, that's all the questions I had, man. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about or you wanted to plug? Anything else that you think we should cover or anything?
I think we basically went through everything, and I just want to say to people that are watching this that they should keep following Czech baseball and see that even though we don't have many players, that we can do very well, and we will compete every pitch, and that's what's great about our team. So they should definitely keep watching us.
Yeah, man, I completely agree. If you're listening, you know how much I've been harping on this all of this season since they qualified, but this is easily one of my favorite storylines in the whole WBC. So the fact that this team, who's played together for forever, but they're amateurs, a lot of them don't get paid, have second jobs, like they're competing against the best of the best in the world to represent their country is the coolest thing. And I can't wait to see y'all play on national global television. So it's going to be a blast, man. I'm so happy for you that you get to play on this stage, that you get to represent your country. If you ever need anything, feel free to reach out. I'm always here to help with whatever. We can continue to grow Czech baseball from even over here in the States. But really appreciate you coming on, man. Yeah, this was a ton of fun.
That's amazing. Thank you for having me again, and have a good night.
Yeah, man. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of WBC Central. Go like, share, subscribe, all of those things. Baseball Isn't Boring on all the streaming platforms. You can go to my YouTube channel, Twitter @Sean_Spradling. Yep. Y'all have a good night or morning whenever you're listening to this.